know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, we all know this, then who created Allah? Well, the basic answer is no one, right? But we still know that no one created Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we still think in our heads, so how? How Allah created us, but Allah is not created. How could this happen? So what was before him?
Nothing.
I mean, yeah, we all know nothing, but how? How could Allah create all of us and nothing has created Allah? This is exactly what we are going to discuss together. May I have the markers? Any of the markers?
That's a good question. So, did Allah even create himself?
Okay, good question. Right. Let's think together, and we'll try as much as possible to discuss this and explain it. Okay? Right. There are things that you can feel or visualize. Okay? If I told you, for instance, this person is very merciful, right? What would you think? You would think he is merciful, right? Why? Because mercy has something visual in your life, right? You know that your mom has mercy on you. You probably see cats. They have mercy on their small children or baby cats, right? So when I tell you mercy or a person is merciful, you understand it, right? You can feel it, right? If I tell you that this person is, for instance, very forgiving, all right? So forgiveness, what forgiveness means? It has, everyone knows what's forgiveness, right? Why? Because he has something similar that he can think of, right? He can think of. Just being forgiveness, that means my mom was forgive me like when I did a lot of mistakes. So this is equivalent, right? Okay. I may tell you that a person can walk on the water. Okay? If I tell you, like, I know a person that walks on the water, it's going to be like, no way, right? This is not doable, right? What about if it happens that you see a person, you see it with your own eyes, that's walking on the water? Then, you'll believe it, right? Why? Because you see it, you saw it, right? So if you see something that's happening in front of you, you can feel it or see it. So this is something visual and something that you can feel or visualize. Right? Okay. So walking in the on or in?
On.
Yeah. And please keep these examples in your mind because they are going to help us at the end. Okay? So, we have something called facts or logic. Okay. Plus 5 equals?
10.
Equals 10. Is this something logical?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's by logic, by your mind. You accept this. If we put 5 people next to 5 people, they will be 10, right? Okay, so is it logic? Yes. Is it yes? Can we visualize it?
Yeah.
Visualize it? Visualizing? Yes. Okay. An example. The baby in his... Please. So the baby in his mother's womb. Womb? Son? Okay. Just imagine with me that we reached this baby and we told him, listen, after a few days, you're going to go out of your house, okay? You will meet some other creatures in your age that you're going to play with them. You're going to eat from here, not from here. And there will be a human being will be taking care of you, and this person is called mom. What would you think? No way, right? He can't realize all this, right? Why? Because he couldn't visualize it, right? Like a baby will not be able to visualize the life out of his mother's womb. But in reality, this is the truth, right? So you and I, we both believe that this is what's going to happen to him, right? Even though this baby denies his mother. The baby denies that there's something called mother, even though he's in her, right? So now he denies it because he cannot visualize it. So the baby example. Is it logic?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, no, this is the reality. Can he visualize it?
No.
Okay. I am an engineer, and I will tell you something. If I want to determine the area of this land, of this ground, we in engineering have something called integration. Okay? So I'll give you an example. I'll say sine x, integration from 0 to x. For example, cosine s. Okay, so we use this equation by taking a little piece of the land. We apply something called integration on it, and by this integration, we can determine the area. We can determine the area of the land. Do you guys understand?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so we have some smart people that understand. Okay, so this is because you guys trust me. I'm an engineer, I'm telling you. And we have some engineers can tell you this as well. So this is by logic, makes sense, but can you visualize it or understand it? No. Okay? Okay, let's get back to the topic, to the main topic. Who created you? Allah. Okay? I will just assume for a minute that who created you is your parents. Okay? So who created your parents? Their parents. Just as assumption. Okay? And who created their parents?
Their parents.
Their parents, perfect. And then who created their parents?
Their parents.
All the way up to
Adam.
Adam and Hawa. So who created Adam and Hawa?
Allah.
Perfect. Hold on with me. So who created Allah? I will just assume for a minute that another thing called X. Okay?
Yeah, X means like it's like
X is like anything.
variable.
Yeah, variable. So we said you, parent, Adam, and Hawa. Then we said Allah, and then we'll assume that Allah was created by X. So who created X? Y. Who created Y?
Z.
Z. Who created Z?
A.
A. Who created A?
B.
B. Okay, we'll keep going like this. All right. So just give me your thinking for a minute. That we'll keep going. Who created B? C. Who created C? D. Until we finish the letters. Then who created whatever?
One.
Whatever. And then 2, 3. Okay?
So we get to
Up to what?
infinity.
Up to infinity. Right? It never ends. Then, this equation, or this assumption, by logic, is wrong. Look.
What?
This assumption
Is
by logic will never end.
Visual.
So, this assumption by logic will never end. One second. So if you keep going like this, you will just keep going until infinity, which means it cannot be realistic. So this theory, the philosophers call it نظرية انتفاء الدور. انتفاء الدور means I don't know how to say it in English, but this is the explanation. Okay? This is how you prove that this equation has to end. Okay? So, well, from all these, one of them has to create whoever comes after him. Right? Is it by logic? Do we understand it by logic?
Yeah.
Okay, who said, like, okay, again. Here we said someone created someone, someone created someone, someone created someone. All the way to infinity, which means impossible. So it has to end. It has to end somewhere. Someone of these should have created whoever comes after him. Because it can't keep going, right? So, one of these things has created all of them. Then who created everything is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Just think with me. It's really hard to understand it because we cannot visualize it. Right? We cannot feel it. Because we don't have similar things to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our life. Right? We never seen someone creating things. So we can't visualize it. But by logic, we can prove it. We can prove it. Okay? So here we said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all this. Okay? We have two options. Now, it's whether Allah created all this or all the universe came by coincidence. Right? Some people say that no one created us. Right? We were just by coincidence found here. Okay? So we have, there's also another theory, please think with me. Okay? Another theory called, sorry?
Evolution.
No, I'm not talking about the evolution right now. The theory is called al-ithbat. What's it called again? No, it's Burhan al-Tarq. If there are only two options, there are only two options for a thing, then by proving one of it, you prove that the other cannot happen. I'll give you an example. I can be here, or I'm not here. Okay? I exist versus I'm not exist. Could it be anything else?
No.
Could it be anything else?
Yes.
A. Just tell me. I'm telling you two things. I am exist, and at the same time, or I am not exist. So, Omar.
Having people twin.
No, that's serious. Think with me. Yes.
When you said the evolution thing or whatever, I thought there was one that they said, like we used to be monkeys and
That's the evolution theory. That's something else. But let's talk about this. Yes, me.
There was a poet a long time ago in the Middle Ages that he had that theory about do I exist or do I not exist, and he said that since I'm asking this question of do I exist, then I must exist.
Exactly. So if we only have these two options, whether I exist or no, if I prove that I exist, that means at the same time, I prove that the other option is wrong, right?
That not existing is wrong.
Yeah, I prove that not existent is a wrong option. So same thing. We have two options. It's either something that have created us, or we just came here by coincidence. So, is it possible, guys focus, is it possible that we came here by coincidence? Okay, some people say that before the creation, before the whole earth exists, we were all one cell. And this theory is called the Big Bang Theory. So we were all one cell that exploded, and by this huge explosion, we all came. Okay? And this theory, well, the evolution theory itself has, there are long debates on it. But now I'm talking about, could it possibly be that out of this explosion, by coincidence and by time, we come here? If we say yes, then you guys should accept if I tell you that all this building just happened to be here, with no one built it. Okay? By coincidence, these tables and these chairs came here and they formed like circles and all this. Those who deny the existence of God, they claim that we came by coincidence, and coincidence could create things and end up having one poem or one part of a poem of Shakespeare. Right? If like things could happen by coincidence, then maybe like after all these monkeys keep typing, after a long time, we would have Shakespeare, like one sentence that makes sense out of it, right? Okay. The result, when they tested the result, after 1 month, they found that the monkeys didn't type even one single word, even the letter A. The letter A in English is considered a word if there's a space before it and after it, right? A book, A is considered a word. These monkeys haven't typed one single word by coincidence. It didn't happen. And they prove after this that for these monkeys to come out with one sentence, they need time way longer than the age of the whole universe. Okay? Someone has a question here? Please.
Can I use the bathroom?
Oh, please. Yeah.
It's not a question, but I'm just trying to say that some people, they're like, they make no sense at all. They say that it just happened by coincidence and nothing made us. We were just there, and then we tell them nothing made Allah, and then they say something must have had made Allah, and then we tell them, okay, something must have had made people, and then they say no, people were just there. That makes no sense at all.
Right. So, okay, thank you. Back to the topic. As I told you, there are things that we can accept by logic, even though that we cannot visualize them. And here's the Iman part comes. When we have trust, when we have Iman on things that we can visualize, right? So for instance, just an example. I told you, since I'm an engineer, this is the equation, or like, this is just an example. We use an equation to do like a certain thing in engineering. Because you guys trust me, you believe that this could happen, right? Even though you cannot visualize it. But you have other proofs. Well, you know me, you know that I'm an engineer, you trust me, I don't lie. So you just accepted it. So same thing, that's the Iman. That's what Iman compensates. The Iman of us, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah is the creator. Allah has created everything. طيب. What was before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We don't know. Okay? Allah subhanahu, no, sorry, the answer is not we don't know. The answer is Allah is al-awwal. Nothing was before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? How can we accept this? How can it be that Allah was before anything else? Okay? This is something that we cannot visualize because we don't have something similar, right? You remember the mercy and forgiveness? We cannot visualize this. How it could be that Allah is an awwal. Allah is before everything. We cannot visualize it, but we can understand it by logic. And that's why the iman supported with logic, this is the true iman. By logic, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the space and time. Okay? What's the whole universe? The whole universe is space and time. What's time? Time, okay. When the earth do like one circle, this is what? That's one day, right? And when the earth do one round around the sun, this is a year, right? So all this space has the time in it, correct? So the time and the space are embedded together. We cannot separate time and space. So think about it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of all this, Allah has created the galaxies and the sun and the earth, and they are together having something called time. They together have something called time. We live in this small part, so when like this little part makes one round, we feel that one day passed, right? But Allah is out of all this. Allah aslan created space and time, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't treat time the way we treat time. We are in the earth that have the time with it. But Allah is out of this. Just think about it this way. Allah is completely out of, Allah created the space, and within the space there's something called time. But Allah has nothing to do with our sense of time, right? Because all our sense of time is together with the space. So some people have questions, right? Mu'ad, go ahead.
Why did Allah make us?
Now, this is the third lecture, inshallah. This is the third lecture. Why did Allah created us? Okay. Yes, Yasmin?
Well, if Allah is separate from the space and time,
Boys, girls, focus.
then why do people say that Jannah is up there? Why
Nah.
do people say that?
Well, is Jannah in our universe?
I don't know.
No? No, that's what I'm telling you.
Okay,
And
so then
we-
why do people say that Jannah is up there?
Yeah, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us things about the Jannah. So the Jannah, because up there for us is out of our space.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So we just have ability to know like the space. But we have no idea about other things. Why? We have to admit at a certain point that human beings have certain abilities. Human beings have certain abilities, and they have to have something else to support their abilities to come up with something logical. I'll give you an example. Again, this example. Your brains have certain abilities according to your age that you cannot understand such a complicated equation, right? But with trust, you believe that this could happen, right? Exactly when we think about ourselves, our minds are little compared to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for sure, right? So there are certain things that we will not be able to think of, we will not be able to accept with our little brains to accept them because they don't have anything equivalent that we can think of. But since we trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to accept it. So for example, we will not die in the Jannah, correct? So we will live, and then we'll live again. And every day in the Jannah is better than the day before it, right? So today, first day in Jannah, I'm happy. Tomorrow, I'm happier. Tomorrow, happier. The day after, happier. I'm very happy. Much happier. And then what? Nothing. It will keep going.
That's like infinity.
It's infinity, right? How can we accept this? We can't. But because we trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's telling us there is something out of our space. As I told you again, timing is embedded in our space. So there's something out of time. It has nothing to do with these rules. 1 day, 1 year, 10 years. These are rules of what? Of this space, of this creation. The earth, the galaxies, the sun. These creations, they have something called time embedded in it. Everything else is out of it. So time in the Day of Judgment has nothing to do with time of this earth, right? It's a complete separate system, right? And then please.
So it's hard for me to visualize because once I asked my dad, was like before Allah created everything, did he live like in a black space or in a white space? He said no, there was no color at all, and it's hard for me to visualize that there was no color at all. Like it's hard to visualize. No
Perfect.
color at all for us means white or black. I mean, it's hard to visualize.
White, black colors are all elements of this space, of this creature. The earth, the sun. These are the creatures that have colors, right? Can you tell me whether the other things, the Adam, before the space was even created, were their colors or no? We don't know. Why? Because we just happen to be in this creature, but we don't know what's outside it. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he told us about the Jannah and the hellfire, he told us some things that can help us visualize, right? So he told us in the Jannah, we will have fruits, right? In the Jannah, we will have people. We will have houses. Well, the houses of the Jannah are going to be similar to the houses of here?
No.
No, right? But he just told us these things just to help you visualize it. But it's going to be something else, right? Am I going to have a nice car in the Jannah?
Yes.
Yes. But does it have to be similar to this car?
No.
Maybe much nicer, right? And not maybe, definitely much nicer. Yes, ma'am.
Like when you were saying like when Jannah, when Allah Subhanahu wa Taala he puts us in Jannah and then he makes us again and then he gives us to life, and then is there like other people which were living before us, or was there or is it just like us? Like before.
Perfect, awesome question.
Before like the Day of Judgment of the last time, was there
With other people,
Yeah.
after we all...
like there was people living and then the day of Judgment and then we guys came. Was it like that?
Okay, I'll say it in another word. After we all die, do you guys believe that we all going to die?
Yeah.
And then the Day of Judgment will take place?
Yeah.
Right? So after we all die, would some other creatures come occupy the earth,
No.
or maybe another human beings or anything, come occupy the earth after us?
No, because it's going to be destroyed.
Okay, one second.
But Allah can make
This
it
is
again.
something debatable between scholars, and we don't have an absolute answer for it. Because this is beyond our imagination, right? And we have to admit again that there are certain things that we will not be able to understand.
Like out there.
Could be, yes.
Okay, and also about the animals, do you think they'll also have a good time?
Well, about the animals, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us that they will vanish, they will die. So the animals will be resurrected in the Day of Judgment just for fairness,
For hisab.
for hisab, yeah. If one animal,
For accountability.
yeah, for accountability, if one animal hit another animal, they will both be resurrected to take his right, and then they both die.
Wait, but don't they doesn't Allah have to but don't animals kill each other for food?
Yeah,
But you just said if another animal hits another animal.
yeah. Well, the hisab of the animals, how it take place,
No.
Allah knows, right? I just want question.
Yeah. You know how you said that in the Day of Judgment is like how you said the time is different there? When the people die and then you go in the Day of Judgment, are they different? Or do you see no difference?
No, we know that we're going to be the same people. Well, in the Day of Judgment, our bodies will have some different in terms of shape, for instance. When we go to the Jannah, our bodies will be different, our ages will be different. So our age will be constant, will not be kids and then grow. It will be just one constant age. Our bodies will be bigger. So we have certain descriptions about what's going to happen, but again, we accepted these descriptions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala since we agreed that He is our Creator, right? I'll ask you a question, please. Maybe.
Well, there are because Hubble went on.
Okay. I'll tell you two things, just for you to try to visualize things with me. The first thing, I'll give you an example. Muhammad, my friend, went to the hospital and he gave birth to a kid. Can you guess whether it was a girl or boy?
No.
Girl. Why was it? Wait, a man giving birth to a child.
Perfect.
You know.
Now you said it doesn't make sense
For a man to give birth.
for a man to give birth to a child, right? So this question, by definition, is wrong. A man, by definition, cannot give birth to a kid. Same thing. Who created Allah, by definition, is a wrong question. Why? Because Allah is the Creator who is out of all this. All space, time, everything. Allah has created the universe. Allah has created time, have created space for us. Right? So now we can't ask who created Allah because He is the Creator. So by definition, a creator cannot be created. Right? Do you guys get it?
Yeah.
Right. Another example, just to visualize things a little bit. Some people would ask, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what I'm going to do tomorrow. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whether I will die a Muslim or a Kafir, right? So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything that I do, how would He judge me or hold me accountable for what I'm doing, since He already knows?
Because you can do things on your own.
Right? Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whether I'll be a good person or a bad. Right? Right, Yajan? So, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold me accountable for what I do? Okay? And I will answer this, just to make it simple. Let me finish and then I'll accept your question. I'll answer this by giving you an example. So imagine that this is one big poster, or we have one big poster in the wall, and there is an ant walking on the poster. Okay?
There's a what?
Ant. Little ant. Okay? So you come, sit, watch her. Okay? Now, you see that there is a bridge. Okay? In the picture after a big distance. Okay? For the ant, she will be walking maybe 3 days, 3 of her days, to reach the bridge. Right? You're sitting out of space, out of this, and out of time. Right? Your time is not like her time. Correct?
Correct.
So now she's walking and you can tell she's going to go up the bridge, and then after the bridge there is a river. She will try to avoid it by going all the way. So you know exactly where she's going, right? Does she know what's after the bridge?
No.
Can you tell how long will it take her to go to go all the way to the bridge? Yes, by time, you know, like her speed, you can tell, okay, after few hours. Well, this few hours for you could be like days for her, correct? This is just trying to give you an example. You are out of her space, you're out of her time. You are looking at things from outside, right? You know exactly what she's going to do. Did you force her to do it?
No.
Did you affect her decision to either go up the bridge or to take another route?
No.
No. Okay? I am a teacher in a class and I have students. Before the exam, I could by 99% assume who's going to pass and who's going to fail. Why?
Because you know how they...
Because I know my students, correct? Did I affect their decision to pass or fail?
No.
No. So there's this sort of knowledge that it's knowledge but has nothing to do with decisions. Allah knows, because He created you, what you're going to choose. But did He affect you to choose it?
No.
No. You have the freedom to do the right and to do the bad. Correct? Pretty much similar to the ant. she has the freedom to go up the bridge or to go around, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what you're going to do, but He didn't affect you. Now you have the full ability to choose to go to the right path or to the left path, right? Imagine a sign on the highway. You're walking in the highway, you want to go to Hawaii. So there's one big sign says Hawaii from here, right? Some people will go right towards Hawaii, and some people will just keep going front. Did Allah guide them?
Yes.
Yes, He gave them the sign, right? Telling them Hawaii is here, right? They didn't want to use it. So did Allah misguide them? No. Allah does not misguide anyone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said something about this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala misguide those who choose to be misguided. Right? So when they choose to be misguided, then misguidance happens to them. It's not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide people and misguide people. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He told us about Thamud, you all know Sayyidina Thamud, right?
Sayyidina Salih.
Nah. He said about Sayyidina Thamud, about his people.
سيدنا صالح عليه السلام ثمود القوم the tribe.
عذرا, yeah, Sayyidina Salih. Yeah, when he talked about Thamud. Yeah, astaghfirullah. When he talked about Thamud, what did he say? He said, وَأَمَّا ثَمُودُ فَهَدَيْنَاهُمْ. We guided them. فَاسْتَحَبُّوا الْعَمَى عَلَى الْهُدَى. But they chose the misguidance over the guidance. فَأَخَذَتْهُمْ صَاعِقَةُ الْعَذَابِ الْهُونِ. And then Allah destroyed them. Right? So every single person has two options. Whether he is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide him and he refuses the guidance, or he accepts the guidance. Could it happen that a person doesn't see the guidance in his life? Yes. Then how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will treat this person? We are going to talk about this in the fourth, I believe, lecture. But the first category, people are either guided or guided, but they choose to be misguided. Allah does not misguide anyone. Allah guides everyone, but people choose whether they go in the right path or in the wrong path. Go ahead.
Like when you were saying that Allah knows everything, what we're gonna do next day, is like Allah controlling us?
Again, I'm your teacher. You have an exam tomorrow. I know you're 11. Okay? I'm pretty much sure that you will pass because you're a good student. Am I affecting you?
No.
Am I controlling you? You study, you come, pass. I just know that you studied. And I know that Adnan didn't study. No, I'm just joking. Adnan studied as well, but I'm just giving an example. Okay, Adnan, please. I'm sorry, I was just giving an example.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
But okay, let's take it this way. There, like, Allah, if Allah, when there's this hadith of the Prophet that, like, before you're born, when you're still in your mom's belly, Allah sends the angel Jibreel to the baby, and before he's even born, he writes 4 things, and one of them is what he will be doing. So it's not only like the example of us. We didn't decide. We didn't like write it down. Like the ant will go there, or no, we don't know for sure, but Allah knows for sure. Like He wrote it down in the Lawh al-Mahfuz. That's a big difference.
Perfect. Yeah, the ant example, very good question, honestly. The ant example was just to visualize how someone could be out of time and space of something else. Okay? Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His knowledge, infinite knowledge, knows your end. But Allah does not affect your decisions. Okay? He just knows. But with His knowledge, He does not affect your decisions to go right or left. Okay? Do you get it?
Well,